Hello all, welcome to the nervous system. You just finished the evolution section. I'm hoping to have those quizzes graded before long. But in the meantime, for these last 2 weeks, we're going to look at the nervous system. I realize it's kind of an awkward jump from evolution to the nervous system. This is a system that we talked to some of the anatomy teachers and some of the other science teachers, and we realized didn't get a lot of study. So we're covering a little bit of it now, just because it doesn't get a lot of attention later. So it's a nice short unit. It fills up the end of the year well, and also that's why we're hitting it. So neurons, these are the cells that make up the nervous system. They conduct the impulses throughout the nervous system. So the best way to think about the nervous system, whoa, sorry, let me switch to the pen a second. Sorry, I think I do that every single time. Also, I think a fire truck just drove by, it was done, and Kai's in the room with me, so sorry if it's a little noisy. So you have these cells, they send the signal to the next cell, sends the signal to the next cell, all right, etc., etc. Another really good way to think of this, is if you had people holding hands with each other and standing in a line, okay? If the first person squeezes, this person squeezes this person's hand, squeezes this person's hand, and squeezes it, the signal keeps going down the line. So really on a microscopic level, that's what the nerve cells are doing. They're just doing it in a different way. They're not, squeezing the hand of the cell, but they are sending that impulse. So neurons, that's what makes up the nervous system. So the cell body, so you'll have this neurons part already, but cell body, main part of the nerve cell. All right, this would have the organelles that we studied like way back first semester in it. The dendrite, it's a branch-like extension of the neuron. So we have the neuron, it has kind of a funny shape. It's a cell body. It has like, it has like its long tail-like thing. It's kind of a funny looking cell. The dendrite is this part here. All right, at the end here, this receives the impulses, carries them towards the cell body. The cell body will interpret these like, okay, is this danger? Is this pain? Is this heat? Is this pressure? What is this impulse telling me? So the dendrites, they kind of branch off a little bit. These would also be what's next to the cell over here. Another one, so the dendrites on one are near the part of the next cell to it. Okay, sorry about that if it's a little jumpy, but I think I'm good now. So neurons, the cells that make up the nervous system. Axon, extension of the neuron. So we have our funny shaped cell. We have the dendrites on the end here. This is this tail-like thing, all right? This whole thing is the axon. All right, it takes the impulses away from the cell body, and then this cell would be near other cells, and it would, it send the signal to the next cell next to it. It might send it to like a muscle. This could be something maybe telling the muscle to tense up or to relax, telling, the fight or flight, like run away. A gland could be to secrete a hormone, something like that. All right, there is something called the myelin sheath. So let me draw my weird looking cell again. Okay. This is around the axon. All right, the myelin sheath, this sometimes covers the axon of a neuron. So the axon, remember we said, is this part here. All right, so this would be these little things that are around it. They insulate it. Think like when you have plastic or rubber insulating a wire so that the wire doesn't short out, so that the wire can conduct the signal it needs to conduct. Same type of thing with this. This way, if it touches another neuron, it doesn't short circuit the signal that it's sending. So insulates the axon. That also helps it speed up the impulse. This gives it kind of a white appearance. Otherwise, if they don't have it, they appear gray. So nerves, the brain would have kind of a whitish or grayish appearance based on what type of nerve cells they have there, or if they have the sheath or not. So this is kind of a better picture than what I drew earlier, but I was pretty close. We have our dendrites, these branch-like things, nucleus, the cell body, so these would be like the little organelles. Then the axon sends the signal. Now each of these could be near another nerve cell or a muscle or a gland. All right, and then we have our myelin sheath. So each of these little rectangle things, that could be part of the myelin sheath. The cell receives the impulse on this end. It goes through the cell body, and then it goes down the axon. Now, the impulse relay. This is a explanation of what happens. Say you touch a sharp object, or you touch a hot stove, or you feel pressure or something. Your body does this like instantly. You touch, so something stimulates the sensory receptor. It senses heat, pressure, sharp, whatever, pain, whatever it is. That receptor sends the signal to the neuron. All right, the neuron sends that signal to the spinal cord. The spinal cord is kind of the main central part. All the signals need to be sent there. The spinal cord takes it, sends it to the brain. The brain interprets it. Maybe it's something like, okay, pain or danger. Then the brain sends the signal in the same way back, telling us to react or to not react. Your body is doing this constantly all the time, and your brain is always deciding, okay, is it dangerous? Is it okay? If you think about it, this is maybe this is a weird example, but it's a really good way to think of it. Not if, but you are wearing clothes, or you're wearing socks, or you're wearing shoes, okay? If you think about it, you can really feel them, but if you don't think about it, you can't really feel it, because otherwise your brain would be on total overload, because it's getting all these signals saying something's touching us, there's pressure, what is this, okay? Our body says it's clothes, chill out. That's the signal that the brain sends back. That's, I'm simplifying it, but that's pretty much what the brain is telling the body. Otherwise, we would totally be overstimulated all the time. Now, if we do feel pain, that could be a good thing, because that can tell us danger is coming. If I put my hand on a hot stove, I want my brain to tell my hand to pull my hand back. All right? If I don't feel that pain, I'm going to leave my hand there. It could get injured worse. The longer it's there, the more it gets injured. Sometimes with spinal cord accidents, people don't feel this pain, and that can lead to danger as well. I knew a kid growing up who had some issues. I think he had spina bifida, and he actually couldn't feel pain very well in his legs. So he had braces to walk, and he would get blisters from the braces, and he wouldn't feel the pain, so they would get infected and they would get worse. Meanwhile, he's not feeling the pain, so that led to some bigger issues. So where you or I would feel that and be like, ouch, that's rubbing, I have a blister. If you're not feeling that pain, you're not sensing that danger. So feeling things, it's good if our body tells us to ignore some things, but it's also good that our body tells us not to ignore other things. And it's kind of crazy that our brain does this in like just a split second all the time. So the neuron connections, the synapse, it's a small space separates the dendrites of one neuron and the axon of another neuron. So I said earlier, an example of like people holding hands and squeezing the hand to send the signal. Where that breaks down is that there isn't actually any connection between the axon and the dendrite of the neurons. There's a little space between. Maybe if I said people were in a row and instead of squeezing hands, they tossed a ball from one person to the next, okay? There's chemicals that they're sending across this synapse, across this space, but they're not necessarily touching each other. Neurotransmitter. These are those chemicals sent across the synapse to relay a signal from one neuron to the next. So they are releasing a signal, a chemical. The other cell is taking up that chemical, interpreting that chemical, sending it along. A total side note here, but something I think is fascinating, is this is what can lead to some mental illness or just some forms of like anxiety or depression. And I'm speaking about this. I have anxiety myself. I take medication for it because it's a legit chemical imbalance, okay? These neurotransmitters in my brain are not balanced. I don't remember if it's not as many or too many, so I take medication to help regulate them. So yes, there are emotions and stuff that go into anxiety and depression, and I'm oversimplifying here, but it is a legit physical issue. So that's something I'm passionate about, that, these neurotransmitters, if those chemicals are out of balance, you'll feel really crazy, or you'll feel really like out of it. Things like exercise increase some of these levels. So sometimes, you'll hear about the runner's high, or you'll feel really good after you exercise. Well, it's because your brain released a lot of these feel-good chemicals. Okay, so there is science, there is chemicals behind this, these neurotransmitters. They don't just send signals. So we have our axon. This is way zoomed in here, our axon. There's vesicles. They send, okay, so these little black dots here, they're sending these neurotransmitters from this one end. Remember exocytosis, endocytosis? They're sending them to these receptors on the dendrites. Okay, so this is zoomed in. This synapse is the space between. Neurotransmitters get sent across that space. So this is very small, and this happens very quickly. Now, we have different parts of our nervous system. We're kind of going to go through this quickly. This is not by any means a complete guide of every part of the nervous system. However, it's a pretty good overview. Central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. The spinal cord is attached to the brain. Pretty much all the signals in our body go through the spinal cord to get to the brain, and then back from the brain to the spinal cord to the rest of our body again. So central nervous system, CNS, brain and spinal cord. Peripheral, PNS. This is basically everything else. So all the nerves in your hands, in your arms, in your skin, in your heart, in your organs, anything in your body that's not the spinal cord or brain, that is a neuron, that's sensing or signaling these other parts of the nervous system. All right, part of the PNS, so part of the peripheral nervous system, somatic. Somatic means body, if that helps. So this relays information from skeletal muscles and the central nervous system. So our arms, our legs, back and forth to the spinal cord and to the brain. Now this is what can result in our reflexes, so voluntary or involuntary movement. If it's a reflex, it's not voluntary. If we're running, our bodies send the signal to run. Or right now, I'm holding my Apple Pencil, I'm moving my hands around. My brain is sending that signal to my hands to move. I might not be aware of it. I'm not actually literally thinking, move hands. But my brain is sending the signal through my spinal cord, through my skeletal muscles, moving my muscles around. Now, this is why paralysis can occur if there's an injury to the spinal cord, because all of a sudden those signals can't get through. Okay, so, oh man, I wish I could be with you guys and show you an analogy or try to explain it better. But if we were back in my classroom and if I wanted to send a message to the office, well, if I want to, say, use my telephone's plugged in, it has a phone cord. I could pick up the phone on my desk, not my cell phone, the phone on my desk. I could call the front office, hey, we need a pack of staples or something. And okay, cool, sounds good. Now, if I were to unplug my phone or cut the cord, no matter how many times I pick up that signal or that phone to send that message, it's not going to get through. Or on the flip side, no matter how many times the office tries to call me, that's not going to get through either. There's a disconnect. That signal has been cut off. If the spinal cord is severed, those signals are not going to get through. Now, another part of the peripheral nervous system, this is the autonomic nervous system. So autonomic, like automatic, this is information from the brain and the spinal cord to the internal organs. Now, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems, we'll talk about those just a little bit on the next slide, but this is what keeps your heart beating. This is what keeps you breathing. Okay, you are not sitting at home watching these notes thinking, okay, breathe. Okay, breath out. All right, heart, keep beating. Okay, heart, keep beating. Okay, your body's doing this automatically. You don't have to think about it. You can't think about it. I mean, you can hold your breath for a little while, but eventually you'll pass out and your body will start doing it again anyways. So even if you could try to control it, you can't control it for long. You cannot stop your heart from just beating just by thinking about it. So these are things that happen automatically and generally just keep us alive. Our stomach is digesting food. We don't have to think about it. So then here a little bit, the parasympathetic up here, the sympathetic, they're basically opposites of each other. So one stimulates the flow of, I moved my pencil there. Stimulates the flow of saliva. The other one inhibits the flow of saliva. One slows the heartbeat. One accelerates the heartbeat. So if one goes, eventually the other one will have to kick in later to counteract that. This is what keeps things, the homeostasis, maintains these stable conditions. Stimulates the peristalsis, the swallowing food and it going into our stomachs. Okay, when we eat, we need that to be stimulated. We want our stomach to be digesting food. However, at some point, we want it to stop. Okay, if there's no food to digest, we don't want our stomach to constantly be using energy trying to digest food. So that's just what you need to know. Parasympathetic, sympathetic, is they're basically opposites of each other. What one does, the other one eventually stops. All right, so that's the nervous system in a nutshell. A lot of stuff here. We kind of just did quick overview of it. You'll be doing some labs this week. The labs this week are pretty cool. You'll be looking at the nervous system and more just kind of seeing what the human senses are in regards to the nervous system. All right, so I will talk to you later.